We're good. We're online. We're good.
Yep.
We're going. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Thank you for joining us for the latest Sylvia Findings live stream, episode 36. I think 36.
Yep.
Continuation of the settings. I think the pendant settings, I should say. We're just about at the end. I've got 3 trays left of actual settings, and then next week we have a bunch of uh, solder on pieces, pendant settings that don't have bails or are just, you know, weird more parts, even though these are technically all parts. But you'll know what I mean next week if you're here. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We do these every week. If you're here watching the first time, thanks for jumping in at the deep end, I guess. We go through and talk a little bit about. I'm going to show you all of the settings that we have, all the pendant settings. We go through and talk a little bit about each one, how they work, what's the best way to use them, and go over pricing and stuff. Now, we've just adjusted our pricing about a month or two ago for the first time in 4 years because silver prices went, kind of crazy kind of, over the past year. I think it was like 60% increase over the past, couple months. Now, with that whole, crazy GameStop, Robinhood stock manipulation thing, now they're jumping on the commodities market, and silver seems to be one of their targets. So there's a lot of crazy pricing happening right now. Silver's gone up, crazy thing. Luckily, you know, in a lucky twist, and this actually segues nicely into something I'm going to talk about in a minute. Our factory is closed now. Closed last Friday was the last day for New Year's. Lunar New Year and the Spring Festival. They're closed for the whole month. They're closed. They reopen again at the beginning of March. So luckily, we're not having to buy silver to cast a bunch of stuff because the production is closed down. So right now, while things are really volatile and crazy, we're able to keep prices steady. We'll see what happens. I read one article they were talking about silver maybe going up to $50 an ounce again, which whew, if that happens, you know, I guess it's good for us because we already have some product, already or a lot of product already made, but future product, might be a problem. Um, but you can't worry about that kind of stuff when you're in this kind of business. Uh, you'll go mad trying to worry about commodities prices and stuff. You just deal with it is with what it is when you get it, and you move on. Um, if you just a little bit of housekeeping before we get on to the things, if you same as always, if you share the video, you'll get 10% off of the regular prices, uh, and that's if you're not already a member of a lapidary club or uh, metalsmithing club. Which, if you are, you automatically get 10% discount. Lapidary clubs, things. So just let us know. We need to get your credentials for that. Um, Also, if you share this video, we'll send you one of these little polishing cloths. Beautiful little polishing. You can never have too many of those. Um, don't wash them. I know I say this every time, uh, but people, they get the, they work with them a little bit, and then oh, it's so dirty. Let me throw it in the wash. It's like, oh, don't throw it in the wash because those chamois are impregnated with a chemical that helps unbind the copper and the oxygen, which is the cupric oxide or tarnish that's on the surface of the thing. And if you wash them, they'll still be really great for, I guess, removing dust, but they won't work as well getting the tarnish off your pieces. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let us know. We're always available. So many ways to get a hold of us. Um, Uh, as far as I'm not going to talk about shipping this week because it's all bad. It's just bad. It's just bad everywhere. If you're not paying for premium freight, you'll get it when you get it. Um, Nobody's doing well. But again, I don't want to dwell on the bad things. Um, if you're ordering custom stuff, I mentioned that the factory right now is closed for a month. Uh, if you had plans to do that, you can still do that. You could still put in your custom orders, and in fact, it might be advisable to do so for one reason. The people who do the 3D CAD models that we ultimately use to print the resin prototype that gets cast. Um, we can make those people work from home during the month. So we can still get that aspect of it done. And the sooner you get that done, and if you pay in advance for your things, you'll get into the production schedule much sooner than you otherwise would. And there's already quite a few orders that are building up. So when they reopen again in March, they're going to be super busy, and if you want to get guaranteed a place in the earliest production runs, the sooner the better. So even though we won't be producing your pieces until March, the sooner you get in, the better. I guess. So we're still doing that. We're still, uh, cobbling together. But there's one that I'm working on right now that's very gorgeous. Lots of stones. Um, Yeah, so we do got lots of those. I think that's it. Let me start with the tray. The first one. Let me get down here. What am I doing there? Our first item today is a lovely pendant, butterfly pendant with some cubic zirconias in the wings and a little garnet for the eyeball. I think MTP 1218 for a 7 by 9 millimeter stone. Retail price is $20.07, and the wholesale price is $12.55. Let me get that stone out of there so you can get it. So it's a basket, so it's good for a cut stone or a cabochon because of good size prongs on there. I like that big open um, setting, big open cage. These are all of these pendants are all new. Like I don't even think most of these are on the website yet. I know that we've taken pictures of them and we're just working on processing them, but MTP 1219 for a 5 millimeter round, something cabochon or cut stone will work in there. I think probably it looks like would be nicer with a cut stone in there, but I had a nice little tiger's eye cab that fits in there beautifully, so that's what you get for the display one. MTP 1219 for a 5 millimeter round, 1785 is the retail price, and 1115 is the wholesale price. I could pull that stone out, and you can see that, or maybe not. Whatever, you get an idea. It's just nice tall basket, so a cut stone works beautifully in there with those rays coming up to chevrons of cubic zirconias around making the corners. Just a lovely piece, very three-dimensional, um, gorgeous. MTP 1220 for a 7 by 9 millimeter cabochon or cut stone. This has got one of those hybrid seats. Good size prongs for cabs. And not a very super deep basket, but a deep enough basket. You could put a cut stone in there, definitely. Rows of cubic zirconias and the ribbons in the bottom, and the one little cubic zirconia up at the top. That just classic slim soldered loop and bail. Our next item, MTP 1221 for an 8 by 10 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $25.32, and the wholesale price is $15.82. And this, I don't know, I just love this style of things. I know it's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a hybrid of a very classic and a postmodern sort of look, with all the scroll work and the the scrolls kind of terminating in these big cubic zirconias in there. I just love that. Uh, Kind of like I don't know what to call it. I love it. I just love that almost gothic look. MTP 1222 for a 7x9mm cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $22.02, and the wholesale price $13.77. And this looks kind of like a, I don't know, a double rope rope knot up at the top there, with one rope has cubic zirconias and the other is plain. Very cute, very three-dimensional design. Our next one is a, oops, and stone fell out. I think that I didn't have the exact size of stone, but this is kind of close. Anyway, MTP 1223 for a 10x14mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $26.26, and the wholesale price is $16.41. I love that that rococo effect here with all these little scrolly things up around the border. Lots of cubic zirconias, lots of bling. Notice how lovely that the bail is, right? With that big cubic zirconia in the middle, with a row all the way around the outside. It's a good basket depth. So cut stone would work beautifully in here. The prongs are good size, so you can definitely put a cab in there. And that's, again, just lovely. I love those things. Here's a cute little whimsical pendant, because everybody needs a little whimsy these days. MTP 1224 for a 7x9mm oval cabochon or a cut stone. Retail price $15.60, and the wholesale price is $9.75. And this is a little pig. See the little pig head face? Cute little piggy. MTP 1225 for a 7x9mm oval cabochon or a cut stone. Either will work. I think a cut stone would look nicer in here than a cabochon, but I have a cab. The prongs are not super tall, so right, but it's got that hybrid seat with the bevel in the top, so I think it's ostensibly designed for a cut stone, but you can definitely put a cab in there. As you saw, the one I had in there would definitely fit. Cubic zirconias in a couple of places with accents, just very nice. Now, we've got a lot of similar to that style. MTP 1226 for a 6x8mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $12.47, and the wholesale price is $7.79. Just, cute, classic, very simple, very basic. This again is one of those look at my stone, as opposed to some big, thing like this, where this is more, look at my cool pendant. Oh, that also has a stone in it, right? Which I kind of like, because I come from more of a silversmithing background than a lapidary background, but love the stone stuff. Here's a MTP 1227 for a 6mm round stone. I put a cab in there, but a cut stone would definitely work. Retail price $14.04, wholesale price is $8.78. It's got a, kind of a, not a very deep basket, but deep enough for a 6mm stone. Cut stone would fit in there beautifully. Let me get that out of there. Right. Lovely kind of teardrop with a row of cubic zirconias up at the top. Can't go wrong. Right. Just very classic, very clean, very simple, elegant. MTP 1228 for a 6 by 8 mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $18.54 and wholesale price $11.58. So this along this kind of a ribbon effect where it's folded over, right? The row of cubic zirconias in the bottom, and then the folds on the side. Let me get the stone out of there. Maybe see a little better. Terminating in a cubic zirconia up at the top, and the relatively tall bail, right, makes kind of a fashion statement just in of itself. And the loop is in the bottom of the bail. It's not soldered to the piece, right? So the piece itself dangles from the loop at the bottom of the bail, as opposed to the bail hanging from a loop in the top of the piece. I know that sounds semantics, but it does make a difference. It makes this there's quite a bit more movement in this, so definitely it's more of an eye catcher than something that would if it didn't move as much. MTP 1229 for a 6 mm round cut stone, maybe a cabochon. Retail price $16.34, wholesale price $10.22, and I just love this. Golly, I'm gonna sneeze. I just love how the seat itself, or the basket itself, is kind of dangling, right, separate, and there's a cubic zirconia right up at the top of that. It's just a very cute shape, perfectly encircling the gauge, or I guess the seat, the basket, right, with the cute little cubic zirconia up at the top of the bail, right. Our next one is MTP 1230 for a 7 by 9 mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $21.18 and wholesale price $13.23. And of course, it's a cute little kitty, meow. And the stone, I guess, it's a little bit smaller than the setting should be, but it's got a nice deep basket, right? So it's ostensibly designed for a cut stone, which I think would work gorgeous in here. The body has a cute little heart pierced in it, and pave style cubic zirconias all the way on the inside of the body. For the cat lovers out there, we've got a bunch of cat themed pieces in the next tray, which is going to blow your mind. You're going to go mad when you see those. MTP 1231 for an 8 mm round cut stone or cabochon. Retail price $16.93, wholesale price $10.58. Just again, classic simple drop, right? Frame that's holding that round setting in there. So when you're looking at it, all you're seeing is that beautiful round stone with the row of cubic zirconias against the bottom. Very simple heart. Get that stone. I put a cut stone in there because I had one that fit, and gosh, any chance I get to put a cut stone in there is a good day. Our next one is this gorgeous multi-heart piece, right? One heart is cubic zirconias, another one is plain. The setting is kind of nestled in between them. I didn't set that, I just kind of laid the stone in there. I love that big, cubic zirconia up at the top on the bail, and then the swooping, round bail. Is that gonna work? Oh, let it sit there. Maybe not. I'll just get rid of it. MTP 1232 for an 8 by 10 mm cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $26.52. Wholesale price $16.58. I love these. Yeah, this last shipment that we got, there were a lot of settings that have, lots of cubic zirconias in them, lots more bling, I think, is how it was described to me. MTP 1233 for a 10 by 14 mm pear cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $15.35 and the wholesale price is $9.59. And let me just get this out of the way so you can see this is it's got that single chevron. Oh no, that's a double prong. No, it's a single prong chevron with the double prongs at the bottom, right? They're pretty good sized prongs, so anything, a cab or a cut stone will fit in there. lovely floral fauna accents, I guess. Here's another spiritual cousin of that other little kitty with the heart in his thing, right? Only this one has a more traditional basket setting as the head. For a 7 by 9 millimeter oval, this is MTP 1234. Retail price of 1921 and the wholesale price of 1201. And so I guess that's a cat. Oh yeah, because of the tail. I was gonna say maybe that could be like a little Yorkie, kind of bark bark, but it's definitely not a Yorkie tail. That's a cat tail, and the little pointy ears. Uh, Cute. Here's one, kind of a cool one. I like that the stone doesn't really fit in here, but I wanted to show you something because this is such a cool setting. MTP 1235 for a 10 by 14 millimeter pear-shaped cab or cut stone. Retail price is $20.64. Wholesale price is $12.91. And this, I just love this as a bird. Obviously, eagle. You can make it whatever you want, I guess. I think. And the body is, the is a pear-shaped stone, upside down, um, or I guess not really upside down. It can be whatever you want. But again, nice deep basket, so you can put a cabochon or a cut stone in there. It's got that chevron top, so cut stones with a big pavilion are probably better in this than not. Um, Little cubic zirconias coming down from the tail feathers, and you can see his little feet holding onto a branch down at the bottom, right? And of course the head, pave style cubic zirconias all the way at the top. Very cute, very interesting setting. The way that stone sits, what would traditionally be considered upside down, but I don't really consider that upside down. It's just a different way to look at it. Um, Very cool. I think if you had like a I don't know. This would look great with like I know this doesn't fit, but with like a turquoise, I think in there. Very very southwest. Very yeah. Uh, but don't put a turquoise in there and then say it's from the southwest because that would just be wrong. MTP 1236 for a 7 by 9 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone with the retail price $14.69 and the wholesale price of $9.19. These have got a nice deep basket, right? So I think ostensibly this is designed for cut stone, but you could definitely put a cabochon in there. The prongs are a good size, right? Cute little knotwork with a cubic zirconia up at the top and a standard soldered bail. Here's one that seems like it's a little bit out of place with all the other ovals, but MTP 1237 for a 10 by 14 millimeter baguette rectangle. Um, Retail price is $16.58 and the wholesale price is $10.36. Now these prongs, right? They all have the little notches in them, so you could definitely get away with this. Doesn't matter if it's the kind of square that has pointy corners or have beveled corners. Now, obviously, beveled corners will work better in this kind of a setting, because the pavilion would sit in the basket. These push over onto the beveled corners, and that's it. It's a little bit trickier when it's pointy corners because the stone has to be just a hair smaller for the very points of the corners to fit in there, and then you just have to be a little more careful pushing these prongs over onto the corners. You just have to get a little bit of material inside the perimeter of the stone to hold that in there. If it's a cut stone with a pavilion that goes down into the basket, right? If it's a cabochon, it's a whole bunch of different potential issues. If it were a cab, I would say definitely it would need to be beveled corners, pointy corners. Just having the corners inside the prongs as the only means of holding this in is secure, but if you bash it really hard, the stone could be pulled out because there's nothing underneath that's holding the stone in, if that makes sense. Anyway, cute little leaves up at the top with some cubic zirconias and that fluted bail, which I quite love. Here's another one, MTP 1238 for a 10mm round cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $24.14 and the wholesale price is $15.09. This has a cute little butterfly as the bail, right, with a big cubic zirconia in there, a stylized butterfly, and kind of a halo ring of cubic zirconias around the outside of the seat. And the seat is just a traditional, cabochon seat. It's got these double prongs, right, on here, which are, more, I don't know, they're almost more cosmetic than anything else. They don't, specifically add more security than regular prong would. I just think they look very cool, right? I don't know if that's not in focus. Right, so when you push that over onto your stone, they got those double prongs in there. It's very cool. MTP 1239 for a 7x9mm oval. Retail price $20.76, wholesale price $12.97, and it's just a glorious money bag, right? With the bail incorporated into the design as the top of the bag, with rows of cubic zirconias around both sides. There's another take on that. I don't know. That's not. It's just an oval. But to me, I always look at this and I think it's a money bag. Look at the big bag of money, the cartoon money bags. Our next one is a glorious MTP 1240 for a 12x14mm oval cabochon or cut stone with a retail price of $28.54 and the wholesale price of $17.84. And look at this, it's just crazy. So many crazy designs that are mirrored right on one side or the other. With these fishes here, a little spiral, little butterfly, flower. It's just so much stuff in here. It's so cool. We don't have many that are so what's the way to describe it? So intentionally asymmetrical. Anyway, we've got this lovely bail with that Chinese luck. Is it luck? I think it's luck. Or it's stylized version of that. Anyway, right? Is that? Let me see. The bail on the top of that, or it's just something.
Just something.
It's just something. We have a pinch bail with something similar to that, which is I always get told it's luck. So, which they could be telling me anything. They could be saying, "Oh, Mark, it's your name on here," which it'll say, dummy or something. MTP 1241 for a 7x9mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $28.93. Wholesale price is $18.07. This cute little fox, is it a fox? Panther? Something? Some kind of a cat or something? It's not a fox, it's a cat. Excuse, although he's got some really weird split tail there, so I don't know what that is. That's kind of weird dragon thing. Lovely, cute little cubic zirconia inverted bail, right? I don't know what to say about this. It's a panther. It's panther. Our next item, MTP 1252 for a 7x9mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $19.27. Wholesale price is $12.04. Did I say 7x9? I did. Again, cute, simple, right? Kind of inverted drop frame with some cubic zirconia accents on the bottom and leaves up at the top. Very simple, very, I don't know, very cute. I don't know how else to say it, right? Can't go wrong. Here's, oh, and I wish I had more pear samples to show you on these things, because these are gorgeous. MTP 1253 for a 8x10mm pear-shaped stone. Retail price $19.90. Wholesale price is $12.44. I just love this kind of really interesting framework, almost. I think feel like Peruvian clouds. Have you ever seen those kind of patterns? Anyway, neither here nor there. What the influence of the design is. It's just lovely little spiral with cubic zirconias. It's got a nice deep basket, right? So cut stone would work beautifully in here. Good sized prongs, so a cabochon would work in there nicely. Just whatever you can put in there that would fit would work. Our next one is a cute little dainty, and I hope that stone stays in there because it's not really set. Obviously, I just kind of put them in there, lay them in there. There we go. MTP 1254 for a 5 by 7 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $12.54. Wholesale price is retail price is $14.60, and the wholesale price is $9.13. And right, so this is a lovely swan or a goose. No, it's a swan with the wings and cubic zirconias, and a little garnet for the eyeball on the top of that. Gorgeous, cute, classic. Our next one. Lost my stone. MTP 1263 for a 6 by 8 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $18.14. Wholesale price is $11.34. Again, nice big bale, right? To give you some interesting things to contrast, right? As opposed to having something that's it's almost as big as the whole setting. Which is just an inverted, or it's just a kind of like a teardrop with cubic zirconias in the bottom, right? Again, nice deep basket. So a cab or a cut stone would work in there. It's got that beautiful hybrid seat that I love so much. That's so versatile. The next one, we've got MTP 1256 for a 6 by 8 millimeter cut stone or cabochon. Retail price is $16.99 and the wholesale price is $10.62. I put a cab in here just so you can get an idea what it looks like with the stone in there. I love how all of the little scrolly components kind of come away from the basket and it looks like they're spouting from behind the stone, which I mean technically they are. But there's a seat in there. It's got a nice deep basket and good sized prongs, so boy, any stone you put in there would work great. And I love the bale with the piercings, in the top, kind of continuing the same motif in the bottom with cubic zirconias and little curly cues all the way around. Very neat. This one, God, I love this. We've got a couple of pendants like this with that are just filigree, rococo elements all the way around the outside with cubic zirconias in the top and the bottom. This has got a pretty deep basket, so ostensibly I think it's designed for a cut stone, but I had a cab that actually fit in there, the little Labradorite cab. Yeah, it's right. The bale is incorporated into the design, right? So it's all one piece. Just gorgeous. MTP 1265 for a 6 by 8 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $18.30 and wholesale price is $11.44. What else to say about this, right? Just lovely, sinewy, very three-dimensional kind of piece, right? I think it's probably ostensibly designed for a cab, but the back of that pendant, the back of the seat, I should say, is far enough away from the back of the pendant that you could definitely put a cut stone in there without worrying about it scraping on your chest and irritating you that way. It's just lovely. MTP 1259 for an 8 by 10 millimeter pear-shaped cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $23.88 and the wholesale price is $14.92. This just has rows of cubic zirconias. Actually, the inside halo only is cubic zirconias. The outside one is just It's kind of like that faux twisty wire thing. It's not quite mill grain texture, but it's that twisty wire frame. Uh, and the heart, the pave heart at the top of the cubic zirconia, and the cubic zirconia's bail. Again, lots of bling in this one. This is one of those things that definitely, no matter what you put in there, will draw your eye into the stone in the middle. It's got a good size basket, so cut stone works in here. Good size prong, so um, cabs too. It's got the single notched prong in the top, and it's not even a chevron. It's just a notched prong in the top. So you got to have a pointy top, with your stone. If it's a cut stone, you can maybe get away with the top point not being so pointy, because the pavilion holds, falls into the seat and holds the stone in place, as long as these two prongs on the bottom and the one on the top hold the stone down. The stone won't be able to shift, at an angle or something, because it's in the seat and the seat is holding it in place. If it's a cabochon, it's got to have a pointy tip to be held in by the notch inside that little prong. Right? Just something to consider when you're going to set something in that. Gorgeous, gorgeous pendant. Here's another one that's I just love this. I just love big stones. MTP 1260 for a 10 by 12 millimeter rectangular stone, baguette, emerald cut, whatever you want to call it. Probably beveled corners, again, always work better, I find. But pointy corners will definitely work in here. Oops. These have the notched prongs, right? With the notches inside them, so the corners of the points sit inside those little prongs. Cabochon would work in here, but I think you really want to have a cut stone in here to show off the grandeur of this piece. I just love all these little settings around the outside, around the border of this, with all these oval cubic zirconias, and the rows of cubic zirconias around the outside of the seat, and the pave style bail. That is just so much bling for your buck. It's not even funny. Again, MTP 1260 for a 10 by 12 millimeter rectangular cut stone, ostensibly. Retail price $40.50. Wholesale price $25.31. This is one of my favorite new ones. Although my absolute favorites are coming up pretty soon, and they're like, oh my god, cool. MTP 1261 for a 10 by 13 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $29.33 and wholesale price $18.33. I just love how it looks like a kind of Celtic ovals that are like interwoven in each other almost. Very three-dimensional, very so many places for your eyes to go when you're looking at this piece. It's got, one oval in one direction that's kind of smooth, and another oval in another direction that are intertwined. And this one has cubic zirconias all the way around the outside. And there are other accents that hint at other oval sections, other plain ones, other cubic zirconia ones with the seat just in the middle. Right on the stone. Again, this stone isn't exactly the right size for that. It's a little bit smaller than the setting. But I just wanted you to show you one with the seat, with the stone in the seat, so you can see what it looks like. Gorgeous. Just love this. MTP 1262 for a 12 by 17 millimeter pear-shaped stone. Cabochon or cut stone will work great in here. I'll tell you why in a minute. Retail price is $19.88 and the wholesale price is $12.42. Very simple. It's got kind of like a diamond and then chevron motif at the top. Simple kind of frame with a row of cubic zirconias in the bottom. Nice deep basket with good sized prongs. Now the reason why this would work beautifully for whatever you put in here, a cab or a cut stone, is the prongs are a good size, but also at the top it has these double prongs, right? So the point of the cab or cut stone will go, up inside there, and you could push these over onto either side. It almost works like a regular four-prong oval setting or a round setting. This will hold the stone in every direction, kind of thing. So even if you don't have the pavilion of the stone holding it in place by sinking down into the pavilion, which would be like amazingly secure, you can definitely get away with doing, putting a cab in there. And it doesn't matter what kind of point you have. If it's pointy or if it's a little bit curved, it'll all work. Really super versatile setting. Now, this next few pieces, I love them. This is maybe not your cup of tea, or maybe it is. Maybe you're dying right now. You can't believe it. I know I couldn't when I saw them. I thought these are awesome. MTP 1258 for a 10 by 13 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone with a retail price of $51.05 and a wholesale price of $31.90. And just put a cab in there, but I can pull that out so you can see what it looks like just with the seat on. Obviously, it's a Jaguar's head with a lovely emerald, probably cubic zirconia as the eyeball, with pave style all the way around. His head. I just love that, and the big oval frame, really super. And because you can't have enough Panthers. We've got this other one, and this God. I wish I had a stone that fit in here, that thing, because I don't even have one I could pretend to put in here. It just looks great. The prongs are. Well, let me just go over the particulars. MTP 1264 for a 23-ish millimeter oval, or sorry, 23 millimeter round cabochon. It's got to be a cabochon, obviously. Although I guess theoretically, if you wanted to be brave, you could snip here and there and remove this part of the frame, and then put a cut stone in there. It would have to be a pretty shallow cut stone because the basket is not super deep for this big of a setting. And if you put a cut stone in there, the culet might extend past the back of that, into the back, so that if it's sitting on your chest, the culet might scrape against you. Anyway, retail price is $102.30 and the wholesale price is $63.93, and it's just gorgeous, full body 3D panther, perched up at the top of your stone, all of pave, right?
A lot of settings.
A lot of setting. Yeah, this is super amounts of labor, on these, because obviously these are not cast with the stones in place, right? The stones are all set after the fact. And I will say that from my years as a men's jeweler, and way back in the dark ages when I was learning stone setting, pave was the one that was the most. It's the most work of all of them. I think channel setting is probably the trickiest to make it look right, to keep all the stones level, but pave is definitely the most work. And golly, even with the seats already, made in when it's cast, putting all those stones in there and setting them all in there, God, what a pain, what a horrible, just tons of labor. But once you put a stone in there, golly, you won't be able to take your eye off it. And again, more pave cats. MTP 1255 for a 10 by 12 millimeter oval cabochon or a cut stone. Retail price $81.65 and the wholesale price is $51.04. And this looks more like a cheetah than a leopard to me. But I guess it could be a house cat if he's dangerous enough. Let me pop that stone out of there. Right, it's got a good size basket seat, good size prongs. So I think a stone that's that small, usually the the pavilion isn't so deep that that would extend too far past the end of that basket. And again, just lovely pave all the way around, very three-dimensional. Um, Tons of labor when I think about how long it would take me to set all of those stones in there. Um, I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore. Uh, and now we have a couple of the last four in this tray are all pearl settings. And when we say pearl settings, we mean just because traditionally these are made more for pearls, but you can put any stone that is half drilled, partially drilled stone in there. MTP 1266 with a retail price of $29.16 and the wholesale price of $18.21. But Mark, you ask, what size stone goes in there? There's no listing for the stone. That's because so let me just think. So it's a cute little fox, obviously, with the tail enveloping this little cup and post. I don't know if you can see the post in there, right? Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Um, the post is where you would glue, a pearl, a half-drilled pearl or a half-drilled stone. And so clearly on this seat, on this cup, you could put anything from as small as a 3, maybe a 4 millimeter pearl, up to a much bigger one, probably 8 or 9 millimeter pearl. I think would be the biggest you could get away with on that. That might be a little bit too big, maybe 7 millimeters. So there isn't really, you must put a 4 millimeter pearl in there. You can get away with lots of different variations on these because depending on the curvature of the pearl and the pearl cement you use, it's just going to sit in there beautifully and just held in there. And yeah, those have to be, glued in. We always recommend using a good 2-part epoxy that you can get at, any good jeweler's supply. You can get what they call pearl cement, but that's a single glue, and sometimes it works, but it's not as good as a good 2-part epoxy. Um, Here's another one, MTP 1267, with a retail price of $16.52 and the wholesale price of $10.32. And this is, I guess, a dragon, head. Although, what this reminds me more of is, you ever seen those seahorses that are really, really super, they have fronds all over the place? This looks like one of those, stylized one of those. But again, this has a cup and peg. I don't know if you can see the peg in there, right? It's at the bottom of this kind of a flowery thing. This obviously, once your pearl is set in there, the little flowery thing would be visible from the back, but not from the front. And this probably 6 millimeter to 10 millimeter pearls probably would fit in there. I'm just guessing. That's just off the top of my head. I'm sure you could come up with other stuff to put in there. Here's one, MTP 1268 for $18.95 is the retail price and $11.84 is the wholesale price. This is just a lovely little teardrop, right, with the bail incorporated into the design. Rows of cubic zirconias around the bottom with the rays, and that cup and peg, right? You can see the peg there. To glue your pearl on there. You could also, on these ones that have the solid cup, you could snip that peg off, file it down with a little polishing burr or something, and then fill that with resin. I think if you're doing that commemoration jewelry, these kind of things. All of the pearl pendants. Oh golly, we didn't do any of those, did we? We'll have to come back and do those after we're done with these. A lot of those will definitely work for that kind of thing. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about people using resin, and I'm sort of getting obsessed with it. It's kind of awesome how many cool things you can do with it. And I know it's becoming very popular now, so I'll try to remember that every time I find a setting that would work naturally with resin, to let you know. Here's another one, MTP 1269 with a retail price of $16.28 and the wholesale price of $10.17. And this is obviously just a bumblebee, right, with the bail being one of the wings. That cup and peg, I don't know if you can see, oh, you can see that beautifully there, right? Cup and peg being the head. That would glue on there. Obviously, the size of the body and the eyeballs here will determine how big of a pearl you can get in there. I haven't measured that, but just off the top of my head, it looks like probably 8mm is about the biggest pearl or stone you could put in there. Very nice. Okay, last tray. We've got this one cap MTP 1158, and I don't really have anything to put in there, but just I don't know if you could see. Imagine something, but that doesn't really work right. MTP 1158, and the opening is 8mm wide. Although once you get something that's pretty close, you could probably lightly push this closed, maybe with a rawhide mallet or a nylon mallet. Retail price is $30.76 and the wholesale price is $19.23. You could glue multi-strands in there, something. Boy, it'd be nice if there were a metal bar in there that you can string through, but just great. This is more of a pendant though than a necklace piece. But cool, scrolly winds and wave patterns. Right, very stylized piece, very gorgeous. You know what? I have another one of these that is just a little bit further down in the tray that I'm just going to bring this up now. Here's another one, similar idea, MTP 1168, 6mm wide opening by a 10mm long opening, with a retail price of $30.11 and the wholesale price of $18.81. And these are pretty thick, so I don't know how easy it would be to hammer those down, but just you can get an idea of what it looks like with something glued in there. Obviously, that's not something you would actually glue in there because that's a flat cap, but anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, MTP 1159 for a 24 by 39mm oval, pear-shaped cabochon. And again, this would have to be a cab. This obviously doesn't fit. It just gives you an idea, what it looks like, right? When the stone's up in there, that's covers there. And this up at the bottom. Once you've glued your stone inside that bevel, or that bezel, you could push these margasite flame sort of effects, down onto the stone. I just love that, margasite with the mill grain texture up in the bail and on the flames on the bottom and at the top. Right, just very gorgeous. Here's one. Oops, the ribbon broke on that. I love this kind of brushed silvery look, right? And it's got some kind of good MTP 1160 for a 25 by 25mm cushion cut cabochon. Retail price $35.07. Wholesale price is $21.92. And I love the juxtaposition of that just the sort of brushed, almost tarnished, the antique look of the silver around the outside, and the nice shiny little cubic zirconias in there, very cute, with lovely rose up at the top. That is incorporated in the bail, right? The pattern is all put in there. Right? See that? Very cute, very gorgeous. Here's another more traditional MTP 1161 for a 7 by 9mm oval cabochon or cutstone with a retail price of $15.57 and a wholesale price of $9.74. Right, lovely chevrons, cubic zirconias in the bottom, right all the way around. Very classic, very cute. Here's one that I did have a stone that almost fit perfectly. MTP 1162 for an 18 by 29mm pear-shaped cab. $19.77 is the retail price. Wholesale price is $12.35. And again, we have a lot of these kind of rounds cabs that do this. Right, so the seat, the setting, right, I don't know if you can see that. You can see how it just doesn't exactly fit. I think my stone is maybe like a millimeter too wide for this setting, but it still works. Right, so that would get glued onto the back, and just this lovely, flowery um, frame, I guess, holding onto the one side, and some little grapes up the top with some seeds. Right. So this is definitely one of those things. If you've got a cab that is beautiful, but not, you don't want to be obsessed with all of the different lines and inclusions in the cab. This definitely shows off the cab without exposing too much of the cab, if that makes sense. Or if you have a blemish in one side around here, that definitely is a lovely thing to hide that. I love that effect. Uh, Here's another one that's kind of a spiritual cousin of this, square one. It's the same concept, same idea. Very, I don't know. These. It's almost Roger Dean inspired. Border around the outside. This is MTP 1163 for a 27 millimeter triangular cabochon. Retail price $27.82, wholesale price $17.39. And again, yeah, I just love these lines with the flowers, cubic zirconias up at the top. Definitely an eye catcher. Here's a little more traditional MTP 1164 for a 17 by 22 millimeter oval cabochon. Retail price $25.09, wholesale price is $15.68. Again, it's got to be an oval cab to glue into that little bezel, right? Little scroll work with that mill grain texture here, and this faux marcasite up at the top, and the in the bail, and down at the bottom, very antique-y looking, very classic, almost Victorian. All you Bridgerton fans out there. uh, Here's another one that's kind of on that same line as that the sort of brushed antique look. I just love this. Um, MTP 1165 for a 27 by 27 millimeter triangular cabochon. Retail price is $30.08. Wholesale price is $18.80. And we've got these just cubic zirconia set in, a bunch of things. One in the middle of this flower, right? That's the tube set. And there's a bunch of little prong sets are all the way around here. Very gorgeous. This is definitely, it almost looks like it's a fabricated setting. It looks like something that wouldn't be out of place, in a jewelry design school final project. Very gorgeous, very cool. Here's another one that I wish I had a stone to put in there, to show you what the pattern would look like. Let me see if I can cover it with this sort of a little bit. Right. Very gorgeous flowers. I think again. MTP 1168 for a 26 by 42 millimeter marquise shaped cabochon. I almost said biconvex, but which is technically correct. Retail price $36.18 and the wholesale price $22.61. I just love this kind of flowery, things. Obviously, these wouldn't have to be here at all. You could definitely just glue the stone in there. But once you glue the stone down in the bezel, these flowers just create something to look at. Just very cool. Nice big wide bail for your giant cording or whatever you want to put in there. Can't go wrong. Here's another one. I think this is my favorite of this tray for sure. And I'll put a stone in there just so you can see what it would look like with the stone in. Right. But again, this stone is not the right size for this piece. Right. That would sit all the way up there. MTP 1167 for a 21 by 30 pear-shaped cab. Retail price $36.70 and the wholesale price $22.93. I'm a sucker for goldfish, for koi, for whatever, these things, these motifs that shows up. And I love the garnet eyeballs and the margasite, inside the scales. That filigree pierced bail with the scroll work. Um, just as lovely silver curlicues, right, coming off the tail and the thing. This is an eye catcher for sure. That, I love that. I guess the rest now are all a little more traditional. MTP 1169 for a 6 millimeter round cut stone or cabochon. Retail price is $13.44. Wholesale price is $8.40. And this is just a round seat. It's a hybrid seat for a cabochon or a cut stone. It's got some pretty good sized prongs, right? So all but the super thickest cabs. When you get that small. Usually cabs are not super thick, but if they are, this will work. And it's got a good, deep basket, so cut stones will work in here. Anything will work in here. And just got this cute little sunflower effect with the cubic zirconias in the petals all the way around the outside. And from that, we go to a much bigger round piece. MTP 1170 for a 12.5 millimeter oval round cabochon. It'd have to be a cab. You can't really put a cut stone in there. There's no way to seat the stone, to set the stone once it's in there. Retail price is $20.84 and the wholesale price is $13.03. And I love this technique of how it looks like it's a square piece of wire that's been twisted, right, and pulled around, so you can follow one surface from the inside all the way around the outside, around the thing in the inside. One surface has set with cubic zirconias in there. Very cute, kind of a almost spirally, very three-dimensional looking piece. Not super thick, but definitely thick enough. Oh, thanks. It's a MTP 1217 for an 8x10 millimeter pear-shaped cab or cut stone. 1648 is retail price. $10.31 is the wholesale price. It's got a nice big open bail. Very three-dimensional, very good-sized basket, good-sized prongs. Any stone will fit in there beautifully. It's got that lovely sort of flame-ish motif hinting, right, with the row of cubic zirconias in there. Cannot go wrong. Here's another one, MTP 1174 for an 8 millimeter round cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $16.81. Wholesale price is $10.50. And this, I don't know why, but to me, this evokes, it's a compass. It's a nautical thing, even though there's no nautical things. I just feel like it's kind of that to me, right? So just a plain round seat, which will fit a cabochon or a cut stone beautifully. With a halo, it's kind of a square halo with the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, set inside another border. Very gorgeous, very three-dimensional. Also, I love that fluted bail up at the top. We should get more with those, that fluted bail. I love that bail. MTP 1173 for a 8x12 millimeter cabochon or cut stone. Retail price $14.95 and wholesale price is $9.35. And this just gives this look kind of like a very blocky, alternating squares and void spaces. Let me just show you that without the thing, so you can see that seat is nice and deep for a cut stone. Prongs are pretty good size for a cabochon, so kind of simple, but also very interesting to look at. Here's a cute one. Oh, I know I had a stone that fit in here. MTP 1112 for a 4x6mm oval cab or a cut stone. Retail price is $6.36 and the wholesale price is $4.24. Obviously this is a cute little apple with a plain little soldered loop and bail with the seat inside. I don't know, can't really say much more than that. It's very simple, very classic, very elegant, and very tiny. Here's one. MTP 1108 for a 3x5mm pear cabochon or cut stone with a retail price of $707 and the wholesale price is $472. It's got a simple soldered loop and bail. If you can get that stone out of there. You can see it's got that, it's kind of a chevron double prong, right? It's kind of like a mixture of both. It's a chevron, right? But it's kind of like two prongs that are not quite next to each other. They're sort of formed like a triangle at the top. So if your prongs are, if the tip of your cab isn't perfectly pointy, will definitely still be secure in there, right? And the prongs are not super tall, so be careful if you're going to put a cab in here. Cut stone is definitely the way to go with that, which is the sample that I had in there at the beginning. We're moving on. I feel like we're going fast this week. It's good. MTP 1119 for an 8x10mm oval cab or a cut stone with a retail price of $9.93 and the wholesale price of $6.62. Very simple, classic basket setting. So a cab or a cut stone, anything will fit in there. Good sized prongs. Very simple, cute little ribbons up at the top. The bail incorporated into the design, so just about anything will work for that. MTP 552 for an 8x10mm oval cabochon. Let me see if I can. I don't really have one that will fit in that. Retail price $16.35 and the wholesale price is $10.22. The top of the cab obviously would hide inside, underneath that, right? There are prongs in there, but right, the leaf would definitely hold over the top of that. Again, this cab is just a hair smaller than, or a millimeter or so smaller than that. It's probably a 7x9 cab, and this is for an 8x10mm. Anyway, lovely leaves right at the top. Very simple, classic design. Very cool. Here is one. MTP 1107 for a 10x12mm rectangular cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $11.87, wholesale price is $7.92, and this is just very minimalist, very modern, very simple square bail, with a square basket. No matter what direction you're looking at this, it's all square. This is very manly. This is one of those things that if you're somebody's worried about, I'm afraid it'll be too girly. There's no man that wouldn't wear that. Right, very cute. The prongs, I don't know if you could see, probably can't see, have notches on the inside for the corners of pointy stone to get in there. Although, again, probably beveled corners would work better than not on this. Anyway. Here's a MTP 561 for an 11x15mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price is $15.69 and the wholesale price is $9.82. And again, this has got the prongs. Let me get that out of there. Right, these prongs are kind of tabs almost, right? But they're sort of like triple rows, triple lines. It just gives you a very cool effect once those are once your stone is in there, and those are. That's not the stone that I had in there. Right, you push that over onto the cab. It's just a very cool effect. Again, MTP 561 for an 11x15mm cabochon. Retail price is $15.69 and the wholesale price is $9.82. Very simple, very classic. The cool thing about this is that that's all you'll see. You'll see the stone, and then you'll see those, those prongs over on the top. You don't see anything else except for the loop and the bail hanging at the top when it's done. It's very simple, very classic, very elegant. Can't go wrong. Here's one that I don't have an exact shape or exact size stone, but I did have a heart that was close, so I put it in there just to give you an idea what it looks like with the stone in there. It's so cute. Anyway, MTP 1109 for a 10mm heart shaped stone. Retail price is $11.01 and the wholesale price is $7.33. And again, it's just a simple basket with some prongs, soldered loop and bail. So when you're done, you don't see any of this. All you see is the stone and the hint of the prongs, onto the girdle, holding the stone down in there. Very simple, very classic, very elegant. And I think now we've got, off the top of my head, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 13 or 12mm hearts, pendants. Slowly but surely, we'll get one of every size in a heart. Simple one. And this is the last one of the day, MTP 1117 for a 5x7mm oval cabochon or cut stone. Retail price of $6.93 and the wholesale price is $4.62. And I don't know, I didn't look at this one before. Cute little sort of flowery top, right? The soldered, just a plain old soldered loop and bail. Another, nice little cute tiny one that will bring your eye to the stone and then show off the stone. I got a lovely little amethyst in there. Again, not set, but just sitting in there. Very cute, very gorgeous. And that's it for this week. I think we did good. I wasn't looking at the time. What time is it?
1 hour, 11 minutes.
I did. I went over an hour. See, I can listen to myself talk all day long. There were no questions or comments during the stream. I know you guys were so engrossed in all of my commentary about these things. These new ones on these trays, we're working hard to get all these things on the website, but there's so many new products. That you'll only see a few of them at a time. We'll probably do like, as we're entering them. I think we've been doing like 10 at a time. So slowly but surely they're all getting up on there. So I guess that's it. Next week we'll just do a few more settings that are not specifically pendant settings, but that are like pendant settings that are mostly just the baskets. And then I guess the week after that, then we'll start on the pearls, pendants, which there's so many cool things in there, and so many cool ways you can use them. Right. So thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday, for that would be the 37th one. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, take care of the planet, take care of each other, and keep creating, keep making stuff, keep those creative juices flowing. If you're stuck inside, maybe you've been quarantined again, and you're hitting a wall, a creative wall. You can't think of something else to make. My suggestion is to go back and make something that you're really good at, that is simple for you to do. Just the act of your hands working and not thinking about it too much, what you're doing, because you're already so good at it, you're familiar with it. Once you get that movement, the synapses start firing, and then you can start extrapolating, and then that's when the new ideas come, when you're working on old things. Trust me, it works 100% of the time for me. All right, I guess that's it. Take care. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye. We good? We're off.